That, well, that's your desktop. I love your desktop, by the way.
Oh, that's on the AT on the way
Oh.
to Charlie's Bunyan. I took that end of last spring.
Well,
Well,
like all
anyway,
good Floridians, I love mountains. I see your slide. Please go right ahead.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Well, it's really exciting to be here and talking with you today. We have at Alpha Yumi, we have spent the last 7 months developing a whole new training modality for virtual classroom. But we've achieved it. We've pulled out all the stops to create the best experience for participants. And so we're all fully online. And as a part of that, this summer, we had an opportunity to start working much more closely with the Association of Florida Colleges. We partnered this summer to provide professional development workshops through the summer. Can I see, can you put your hands up if you happen to have participated in any of our programming?
A few hands up in there.
Can you see that, Chris?
Yeah, a couple hands went up there.
Fantastic.
Welcome
So
back.
you know that we have fun when we do our educational events, our professional development events. So and today I'm going to talk to you more about some of the other things we've got planned with AFC. The first thing I want to do though is I want to share some really big news. Big news. Oops, I didn't mean to share it that much. There we go. Our program has been certified by NCCET, National Council for Continuing Education and Training. It took a lot to get to this point, but we now have certified curriculum. We are thrilled, and that just happened on Monday. So I am announcing it to the world right here, right now, and you were there. So clap, 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 and we move on. We're continuing to grow our reach within Florida. Here are our set of current clients, and we're talking with others. We have had almost all of the Florida colleges involved one way or another in the summer's webinar program. And we are rolling out new programs, and we just love our partnership with AFC, Marcia Kiner and her team. So one of the big partnership events we've got is a year ago, we launched our 5G coaching skills program. And we are now offering that through AFC to all member colleges at very, very reduced pricing. And with now that we're doing things all online, our cost to train trainers at schools, et cetera, is minimal. Our program for coaching skills addresses student retention and engagement among low-income first-generation students. We're doing this to improve student retention and engagement, primarily at community colleges. The program's used to develop coaching skills in the academic advising staff. The focus is on having students establish their own goals, as well as the path to achieving those goals. Student ownership of the goals and the pathways builds in them a sense of purpose that's critical to resilience. Student success coaching has been shown to be effective in other states that have used it. I know that the state of Florida also has other activities happening for the Great 28 in that rate. We are compatible with that. We're not competing with that. I want to emphasize that. So our program has received very high marks for improving confidence in coaching skills. Now, tomorrow afternoon in concurrent session 8, Nate Hatsey will actually be giving a program we've called Challenges to Student Engagement. This leverages part of our Barriers to Success workshop. And that's going to be given at 1:45 tomorrow. So if you haven't signed up or you want to come join us, please do. It's going to be really good. And we're going to build that, as I said, on our Barriers to Success workshop. The other way we're partnering with AFC is through Access AFC. The professional development that we've done for member college staffs over the summer has met with very, very positive feedback. So this fall, Marcia announced Access AFC, which is a series of webinars that she's giving specifically to all of the colleges individually. For the last month and continuing for the first 2 weeks in December, we've been giving to member colleges workshops on promoting a culture of equality and inclusion. Looking ahead to 2021, we have a number of topics that we'll be bringing to your campus. So I would love for this to be a very successful program. And for that to happen, it needs your participation and support. So please come join us. They're always good. All right. You know, at Alpha Umi, we love to have fun. So I'm sharing with you one of our favorite new phrases that came from the New Yorker Magazine's Lexicon from a Pandemic. Raise your hand if you've heard this term.
Not seeing many hands go up. People are going to learn today.
Okay, all right. Well, this is a fun one. So body mullet means business on top and party down below. Okay, so now I have a question for you. Who's got a body mullet on today? I confess I do. I'm wearing jeans underneath my jacket. Any other hands up? All right. Here's the next one. How about a hard pant? Have you heard that phrase? Raise your hand if you've heard that phrase.
Not many hands up on that one.
No? Okay. Well, here you go. Hard pants are slacks without stretching the waistband. And I have to tell you, I'm not wearing hard pants because I can't fit in them anymore. I'm going to require a new pair to be able to do that anytime soon. So anyway, that's a little fun learning for you. Okay, so that's an example of what makes our programs different. We like to have fun things you remember. Our programs work. They result in measured sustainable behavior change. Okay, so how many of you were at the opening event and saw my video? Can you raise your hand for that?
See a few hands up in there.
All right, so I'm gonna play the clip at the end.
Great job.
Okay, so there's a reason why I wanted to play that clip. Does anyone know what I was doing in preparation for filming the ad? Anybody have a guess? Put your hand up or unmute and shout out. Okay, I'm going to tell you then. So I was doing power poses.
Getting your
Doing
energy
that.
up.
What's that?
You've got a April from the chat says getting your energy up. That's definitely part of it.
Yes, it's absolutely what I was doing. This was giving me the energy for the recording I did for the opening session. Now, I'm going to ask you all to stand up and breathe some life into our limbs. We sit a lot when we do Zooms. So let's not do that. Let's stand up. I want everybody to stand up. Okay, I'm gonna stand up with you. I'm gonna be brave and try to lift my desk. It collapsed on me this morning. That's why it's being brave. Okay. We have people standing up now, Chris?
We do. Everyone I can
right.
see standing. All right.
All right, and the reason we're standing is because we need to get circulation. But the bottom line is Harvard sociologist Amy Cuddy's research says that adopting power poses, which means taking up a lot of space, creates really good feelings of self-confidence. So let's try to take up as much space as you can. I have to admit, since it's COVID, and I've been doing the COVID 20, which means the extra 20 pounds, I can take up a lot more space than I used to. But just let's.
All right, everybody's getting there.
Stretch and get big. Okay, so we call that here at Alpha Yumi getting big. So that's a way of asking you to change your body language to exhibit confidence, and that it might also, there's some evidence that it may even affect your neurotransmitters so that your body releases, so you actually do feel more self-confident. So thank you for humoring me. I hope it gives you a little more energy. And just remember, you don't have to wait till I tell you to stand up and stretch. Do it regularly. It's really healthy for you. So I'm going to stop there because we're coming up on 20 minutes after the hour. And does anybody have any questions they'd like to ask us in the chat? We can go ahead and respond to those. And I'm going to stop sharing because I'm going to the chat.
Hi, I have a question for you.
Yes, thanks, Kayla.
It has to do with power poses. So the example that was on the screen a few minutes ago, like the hands on the hips, that sort of strong power pose. How do you balance that with culture? Because some cultures view that particular motion of hands on hips as being disrespectful. So how do you balance that with power poses and culture?
Well, first off, if I was going to a culture significantly different than this one, we would research all of the graphics that we had on, because there's, from hand gestures, showing feet, etc. There's a number of things that are not accepted the same way across cultures. But the bottom line is you can get big any way you want, and you don't have to do it in public. I have a note here saying from April saying it's intimidating in a big open office, but you can go in the ladies' room and cop any pose you want, where nobody sees you. It's whatever you feel you want to do to get big. And I have to say that pose is in there because one of my curriculum developers just loves Wonder Woman. And so that's her Wonder Woman pose. That's what she picked. But you are absolutely right. When there is cultural sensitivity, we actually go and scrub our curriculum. And if you are of a different culture and find that offensive, my apologies.
Oh, no, not at all. I just took an international business course, and that was something that I learned a lot about. So I was just kind of curious.
Well, no, it's a great question. Now we were doing, the OK symbol. I'm not going to make it because it's offensive. We took it out, but where your forefinger and your thumb are close together, and then your other three fingers are splayed. That's actually now a symbol for white supremacy. So we've gotten that off of our slides. Nobody's given an OK signal. And in Australia, we actually do work now doing professional development for people in Australia. The thumbs up is extremely rude. It's like the middle finger here. So, you have to be, anytime you use images that go beyond words, you have to be very careful and very sensitive to those things. So anyway, it's a great question. Any other questions? Anyway, thank you very much, Kayla. Oh, Obi says he takes a quick walk to his car to stretch. That's a good thing to do. Try putting your arms up too. So many times we leave our arms down, and they like to play as well. Oh, good. Thanks, Eileen, for posting. Our webpage got posted in the chat. It's 5gpowerskills.com. And just so you know, the company name is Alpha Yumi, and that means that's NASA's name for the North Star. So that's why we picked that name. And I just want to say thank you all. I hope you have a fantastic conference. I hope you have an opportunity to join us in our webinars as we participate with Access AFC going into 2021. And I hope that as discussions regarding student retention and engagement for low-income first-generation students are held at your school, you'll bring us forward as a great solution to help that problem. Okay, thanks. I'm off.
And Carrie, you mentioned a giveaway that you had. I was going to try to pull up the picture.
Oh, yes, we have a
Do you want to tell us
beautiful
about that?
giveaway. Well, let's see. If I knew where I put it, I could show you it. I'm going to get it. I apologize. I thought you were doing that. Okay.
Oh, here it is.
It is suitable for cutting cheese and vegetables and also hiding behind on Zoom calls. So
I have never thought about that, but what a great idea.
right. It's a hardwood cutting board. It's got our little 5G trademark on it. And I have to say, this is extremely limited edition. So
Awesome.
anyway,
Well,
that's the giveaway.
Miss Eileen Johnson has been on name drawing duty. So if I can get a drum roll, Doug Ryan, do you have a drum roll you can do real fast?
Sure.
Perfect. Our number is
I'm not much of
number
a drummer.
6. And I have just been told that number 6 belongs to Danny Rowan Hawk. Congratulations on your new cutting board.
And can you send me a mailing address for that? Will you do that, Charlene?
I will make sure the two of you are connected so that happens.
Well, thank you all. Have a great lunch. Have a great conference. Sayonara. And Chris says it all with
Thank
his
you,
thumbs
Carrie.
up.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you. Thanks all.
Okay. Thank you, Carrie. Thank you, Chris. And thank you, Alpha Umi. Our next sponsor is no stranger to us. We had them at our cybersecurity program back in September, and we're glad to have them back here at the annual conference as a platinum sponsor. And that is Anthology. And here with Anthology today is Dr. Jennifer Beyer. Jennifer, are you ready?
Thanks, Doug. I am, and I'm joined by Glenn Foreman. So, Doug, can you just confirm you can see some slides?
Charlie confirmed we can see the slides.
Perfect. Glenn, do you want to maybe get us started? All right, I'll go forward. So for those of you who may not be familiar with Anthology, we are certainly no strangers to the AFC group. In fact, I am a proud Florida State College alum and former employee of Hillsborough Community College. And really excited to be with you all this afternoon as we share a little bit about what Anthology does and the services it provides to many of the institutions within the association. So you may not be familiar with Anthology, but you may be more familiar with organizations like Campus Management, Campus Labs, and iModules. And in July of this year, our 3 organizations merged together to create Anthology. And we are really excited about the opportunities that enables us to bring to institutions, not only in the state of Florida, where we have many partners within the Florida college system, but really around the world. We are a global organization and have college and university partners in over 35 countries. Our mission and at our core is really to help higher education advance and thrive. Our purpose is to provide you tools to drive engagement, to centralize data, to increase your operational efficiency. And we do that really across the campus through many different activities. So it may be something like improving your strategic planning and helping with accreditation management. We leverage our tools like CRM and our student information system to enable you to break down data silos. We transform campus operations with a modern cloud-first solution designed to support your ERP needs. And throughout it all, every day we all wake up and think about how do we deliver a solution that enables you to be student-centric. We operate from a mantra of a student-first perspective. So let me tell you a little bit about how that works here at Anthology. And I start with our student. I have been in enrollment management for a very long time. And while we like to think that students follow a prescribed path, we know that often that path may become interrupted. They may take a detour. It may change and evolve as they go through the college and university system. But we also know that there are key touch points and opportunities that we have to help those students accomplish their goals, both in the short term and in the long term. And so the tools that we deliver for you are everything from an admissions application and a recruitment management tool, the ability to help students remain on track through student alerts, success solutions, campus life engagement, helping them to track their co-curricular activities, manage student events. In this virtual world that has never been more important in enabling and finding ways to have students connect with each other, both inside and especially outside of the classroom. And then finally, help them understand what happens beyond your campus. So what are the career opportunities that they may be exploring? And then how do you engage with those alumni to help keep them a part of your community as they continue to grow? So what I thought I might do is spend my time just kind of walking you through some of the experiences that our solution provides for you. One of my favorite tools is somebody who did not wake up one day and say, I want a job in admissions, right? We didn't know what that was when we were in elementary school. I found myself graduating from college and having no idea what I wanted to do. And I suspect you have many students who are coming to your institution and saying, well, I kind of like healthcare. You know, I know I don't want to move away. And so we have created a solution that we call Occupation Insight. And that provides your prospective students, current students, and even alumni the ability to search out information about different careers, understand how those careers relate to the courses and programs that are delivered on campus, understand what the outlook for those careers are, and maybe even start to learn, if I'm no longer interested in nursing, what other careers in healthcare might matter for me. We're really excited to see the success that Pasco Hernando State College is starting to gain now that they have launched this product on their campus. We also know it's important to meet students where they are, right? And technology is certainly a piece of that. So providing a student with the ability to apply to the institution from their phone, interact regardless of device, and have an experience that is personalized and customized for them, that grows and changes and evolves with them as they move from a prospective student to a current student, maybe even to a returning student. Finding different ways and channels to engage. One of the things that we always found was that we know there are a lot of resources out there for our students. You all have great advising, counseling, student support services, but we also know that that can become overwhelming for a student. And often we would hear in focus groups that we would do that students just didn't know where to turn for help. And so the idea of a success network that gets presented to a student through a portal, through text messaging, helps them to really identify who are the specific people on campus that can provide them the support that they need. Now for your staff, right, earlier I talked about the importance of knocking down data silos. And that means that it's important to find a way and a tool to share information. My favorite part of this solution is right in the middle, the interaction overview. Because we used to have students that would shop. I used to think that they would shop for an answer, right? They'd go to one office, they'd hear a no, they'd stand in a line, they'd get frustrated, they'd go somewhere else. And then they would come and say, well, somebody told me, right? So I don't know if somebody still works at HCC, but somebody and nobody worked there and they were pretty busy. What this interaction timeline does is it shows me every single communication touch point that we have had with a student across the institution. So I can see that coming up, they've got a meeting about advising. I can see that they received an email about renewing their financial aid. I can see that they have an invitation to a time management workshop. All of this rich data at my fingertips, pulling in and centralizing information from disparate systems on campus, whether it is your student information system, your LMS tool, an engagement solution, right? Test scores that might live somewhere else, connecting to document imaging, providing this holistic 360-degree view of a student that grows with them over time. And I can then use this data to drive action, whether that is creating predictive models, helping them with their degree plans. So we really, focusing on the idea of that guided pathway to help a student accomplish and achieve their goals in the timeline that makes sense for them. And then using this information to drive proactive outreach. So automating things like communication plans that are going across multiple channels and tracking that activity back. I could ask all of you a question. I think Carrie did a great job of engaging with the audience, and I have not done that. So I would ask you all, when is the best time to send an email to your students? Feel free to chat in the answer if you know it. The reality is, I don't know either, right? I have been doing this for 25 years, and I still couldn't tell you the best time to communicate with a student. Using the artificial intelligence behind the scenes of the CRM, we're tracking every time Charlie or Doug or Carrie or Chris open up an email. And then I start to learn that Doug is a guy who doesn't open his emails until late in the day. So guess what? The next time I'm going to send him a message, I'm going to cue that message to go at 4 o'clock for Doug. Charlie's going to get that same message because she is prompt. She gets it first thing in the morning. She's going to get that same email at 8 o'clock her time, right? So that way that message is always front and center. Now, the key is helping not only our students stay on track, but helping you prioritize your activity. And so we centralize this data. We present dashboards. We leverage Power BI to give you analytics. And all of this, because of our Microsoft partnership, is provided for you as part of your Microsoft ecosystem. So, I'm a big Zoom lover because Zoom, I don't know if you all know this, has a feature on the video that you can kind of create like a filter to make you look even better. I'm looking for one that makes me look even thinner, but our solutions are embedded within your Microsoft ecosystem. So reports, student records, raising alerts, you can do all of that from Teams, which we are really excited about. Now I'm tracking my time. I think I've got a couple of minutes left. We did kind of a flyby of the anthology solutions today. And if this has piqued your interest, if you're wanting to learn more about the schools that we're supporting that are a part of AFC, any of the tools that we talked about, or just really want to understand a little bit more about what anthology is, feel free to reach out to myself, Glenn, or check out our website. And I'm happy to take some questions if some have come in on chat as well.
Thank you, Dr. Beyer. That was quite interesting. And you're right, you really have to find the right time to get information out there. There were some comments in the chat there. Apparently some students don't read email.
That's true. That's why we use text and we time those text messages too.
Very wise. Looks like you have a question down there from April. Does messaging have a way to convert an email to a text message?
So it doesn't convert the same message, but through the communication planners, what you typically would do, and what we often see is schools will maybe try some different channels. So if I open a text message and respond, I'm not going to send an email, or vice versa, right? I might start with an email, because what we have found in some of our research is I completely agree. Students don't, it doesn't look like students read email. But what we have found is that there is some critical information that they want to have in email. But if we want a reaction, you're right. Text messaging, portals, push notifications are certainly going to give you some of the more immediate feedback as well. Matt, I think you also asked if we can incorporate Canvas messaging. We don't today. We don't do messaging through the LMS. We really pull that that data in into our system to use. We don't necessarily use it as a channel. Doesn't mean that we couldn't in the future. All right, I think we might have gotten all of the questions. I appreciate Renee chiming in while I was talking. And I think, Charlie, we've got a giveaway as well.
You do. I have a picture of it if you would like me
Excellent.
to share my screen.
Yeah, that would be great. I will stop sharing mine.
Okay. There it is. The
Nice. So
cool
that is a
anthology
cool cooler bag, as you said earlier, which is very true. I actually said to Glenn, I need to get my hands onto one of these.
Agreed.
I told her
All right.
I may know somebody.
All right. Well, Doug, do we have a drum roll? Okay, that sounded cool. All right.
I was practicing during Carrie's session.
I have just been handed the number that is number 15. And I guess you want to know who number 15 is. That is Jacqueline Portier French from Eastern Florida State College.
Woo!
Congratulations. I will connect you with the fine folks at Anthology.
Great.
To get your cool cooler.
Awesome. Thanks. And thanks, Charlie and Doug, for coordinating this. And thanks for being a great audience. We look forward to talking soon.
Thank you. Thank you for your sponsorship.
Yeah, thank you, Jennifer. And thank you, Glenn, and everybody from Anthology for being a platinum sponsor of the Association of Florida Colleges. And Charlie, I'm about to pitch you a curveball, and it's not a drum roll, but we have an important presidential message from the AAFC president, Matt White. Matt, you want to say a few words to our sponsors and everybody attending our vendor fair. Take it over, sir.
Thank you there, Doug, and thank you, Charlie, for putting this together, and thank you to our sponsors and our vendors. It's one of our things that we can do is kind of curate the many vendors that are out there. I know it's I know I'm in IT, and I get quite frankly, I don't answer my office phone from outside calls because I get so many calls from vendors. So we have that's one of the things that I think AFC does well. We're able to talk with vendors and talk with sponsors. And really look at what fits well with our colleges, and our vendors that we have here today really fit well with our colleges. So we greatly appreciate their support. And I know I've with the cybersecurity conference, we had a couple vendors there that are on this conference as well that I've made contact with for my college. So I think it's really helpful, and we really appreciate their support. So please give them a call and check out their products. And thank you to all of our attendees as well. We know times are busy, and we appreciate your support and appreciate your attendance in this. Hopefully you've found something great out of this conference. I know I have. There's lots of good stuff already, lots of good stuff to come. So thank you so much to our vendors and also to our attendees as well. Thank you.
Yeah, and thank you, Matt. We appreciate you popping in with your words of encouragement and support for everybody. And well, let's move on. Our next sponsor is Belfour. They are a gold sponsor of the Association of Florida Colleges annual conference. And from Belfour today, we have Larry Somerville. Larry, I see you there, and I think we can hear you. How are you doing today?
I'm well, thanks. How are you?
Doing well. We're glad that you're here with us, and we're glad all of our attendees are here to hear a little bit more about Belfour.
Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity to be here. And those are some nice words that Matt spoke about vendors. We've been a vendor for several years with the Florida College System. We work very closely with the Risk Management Consortium as far as property losses. Belfour is the largest property restoration company in the world, and we have a contract with the State College System to be the responder for any event that might happen on the campuses. Here lately, it's been associated with a lot of wind. And we've spent quite a bit of time over the last 2-3 years on many of your campuses in responding to the hurricanes and tropical storms and what have you. Jokingly, the other day, I told one of our guys that has responded to so many hurricanes and has been on so many campuses over the last couple of years, I asked him, did you get an associate's degree yet from all of the time that you've spent on campus? And he probably could have, maybe a master's degree the way it was this year. We've been on campuses all the way from Key West to Pensacola. We're in Pensacola at Pensacola State right now, helping them recover from the floods from one of the hurricanes. I think it was Sally. And those projects seem to be ongoing. Year before last, Hurricane Michael at Gulf Coast State College in Panama City. My gosh, that was a powerful, powerful storm. By the time we got finished, one of our guys told us that inside the buildings there, we had replaced something like 500,000 ceiling tiles. Just to give you an idea how much damage there was there. They lost several roofs, and it was pretty ugly. But Belfour is an international company, actually. We have presence in 29 countries, actually. The Americans own all this, by the way. Our corporate office is in Michigan, in a place called Birmingham, Michigan. Here in Florida, our presence, which fits very nicely with the State College System, we have 8 offices throughout Florida, and we're close to everybody. Many of you have probably seen us on your campuses. I know Matt has. We not only provide storm damage restoration, but fire damage. We do a lot of fire restoration, cleaning, and general contracting work, putting it back together again after a fire. Lots of water damage restoration, as evidenced by the recent hurricane seasons that we've had here in Florida. We provide emergency service to these campuses, whether it be emergency power, generators. So you see, we understand the concept of business interruption, and these campuses are businesses. And we have to get you, we feel that we have to get you up and running as soon as possible so that your revenue streams don't get interrupted. Try to keep the kids on campus. I believe Gulf Coast State College got open within 2 weeks. One of the first businesses to open in Panama City after Hurricane Michael was Gulf Coast State College. We had like 800 people on that campus, Belfour people, within 48 hours, which is a difficult thing to do when hotel rooms are not available for our people. But somehow we're able to move people and resources and all the supplies and so forth to get these campuses back up and running again. We're a full service general contractor as well. That's why you see us around after these losses. We not only secure them after the storm and dry them out, but then we also go in and replace everything that needs to be replaced. And also, we handle mold remediation, any molds that might occur following water intrusion when the building envelope fails. Lots of cleaning of different contaminants and so forth that a building might suffer following any kind of building envelope failure. So anything from spills of different sorts of materials, records. We also handle records and document drying and recovery of those records. We did a loss from Hurricane Sandy in New York for the Department of Treasury. It seems like people somehow in their education that run these facilities for documents feel that they have to store their documents, their important stuff, in the basement. And when the floods from Hurricane Sandy came into Manhattan and Wall Street, a lot of very important and valuable documents went underwater. So we got a job from the Treasury Department to restore and dry bundles and bundles of bearer bonds, which were worth millions and millions of dollars. That was a very high profile job that we did as far as document recovery. Vital records, we also restore electronics, equipment, machinery. Right here in Tampa right now, we're doing a bottling plant that had a fire and all of their equipment was contaminated with soot. So, and that's a big job. A big piece of what we do is equipment and machinery decontamination. On the environmental services side, I mentioned the hazardous waste spills already, including fuel releases. We do site remediation for asbestos and mold and lead and things such as that. We're also consultants. If a business needs help in preparing their recovery plans, we can jump in and help them. We do that all over the country. Right now with COVID-19 cleanups, we've been very, very busy, especially for the big box stores. You name a segment of our economy, and we're doing COVID cleaning for those businesses, including the Fortune 500 companies. So we're very, very busy. And we've done some for the colleges here too. At this time, I'd like to mention that we have a new product, a new service actually. We have exclusive rights to do the application for a COVID cleanup that lasts 90 days. It's most of the stuff you see out there, I've seen on TV now, 7-day guarantee or protector that will last up to 7 days. We have one that's good for 90 days. In my mind, that would put a lot of people at ease. Actually, I would think if you had a 90-day protected on your frequently touched surfaces in classrooms and dormitories and so forth. This is just rolling out. It's been filed with the EPA, and we expect soon to have the blessing and be able to apply this everywhere. But it is a 90-day sanitization protection. We do a deep clean, then apply the product, and then put a sign on the door that's signed that says this building has been protected for 90 days. It's really innovative. Very much like the vaccines. You know, this thing was done so fast that they put the development of these new products and medicines on fast track. So here's another one. When you apply it, it kills any viruses that might be on that surface, and for 90 days will kill any subsequent viruses that might land on that surface. So that's pretty interesting stuff. That's new. So we have a state term contract, like I said, with the state college system. This is like, I think, our 7th year working in the college system, and the contract was just renewed, I believe, for another 3 years, something like that, just a couple months ago. So we look forward to working with the college system down the road. Are there questions at this time? Is there anybody that might have a question?
Larry, I saw lots of great comments over in the chat box, just from our different colleges that you guys have worked with. Palm Beach, Pensacola, Chipola, all have, great testimonies. So perhaps we could hear from some of them and just the great things that Belfour has done at your college.
Well, I know I can speak for Chipola, for Hurricane Michael. I myself and my family spent the hurricane in our boardroom in our public service building, and spent the night there because couldn't leave after the hurricane. And the very next day, early morning, there's a Belfour semi-trailer already there on campus trying to find a spot to park all the fallen trees. So our generator was for our IT data center. A tree knocked the gas, and there was a leak. We had to turn it all off because of the gas leak, and they had a generator ran lines in the building to hook it up and get our data center back up. I mean, it's just a whole air conditioners. If you've never seen a whole building air conditioner, it's incredible how they do all that and dry out a building after being off for so long. So I mean, we were back up in a week, and that's thanks to Belfour. So I can't say enough about them after Hurricane Michael and what they did for us here at Chipola.
Thank you. It broke my heart to see all those trees down on your campus because I saw what it looked like before. Anybody else?
I see Pensacola has a reference to the work you did during Hurricane Sally. So that's awesome. And just the way that you pivoted from that into sanitation is super impressive.
Yeah, last I heard we had done like 20,000 jobs in North America with regard to the COVID thing. I'll be so glad when this is over. I've there for a month or so, I felt like I was in a witness protection program. So if you want to stop by, we have a session this afternoon at 1:45 dealing with the COVID and the college facilities people. A pretty nice little board there. We'll be talking about how they're handling their situations. It's a collaborative effort, of course, to get all this information out there to see what's working.
That's going to be a great session at 1:45 today, brought to you by Belfour. It's the live community podcast recording. And our featured guests from the Facilities Commission are Go, Ray, and John is the best way for me to say them, from Palm Beach, Indian River, and South Florida State.
Yes, yeah, I look forward to seeing those guys. Well, if there aren't any more, I don't know how I'm doing on time here. It looks like we're getting close to the top of the hour. So if there aren't any questions, we want to give away, since we're Lowe's largest customer, so we give away a $100 gift card for Lowe's. If anybody wants to reach out to me, if you could draw a name, I'd be glad to do that.
I've queued up Miss Johnson. Doug, you want to try that drum roll one more time?
I can try the
Maybe
drum
get
roll
those,
one more time. Let's see if we
drums
can do
tuned
it.
up. Oh, much better. Is it over? Our number is number 32. And our winner's name is Pamela McCander from Florida Southwestern State College. Congratulations.
There she is with a whoop whoop. All right. Good job, Pamela.
Pam, just reach out to me.
All right, Larry, thank you so much. Cannot be anybody in this country more thankful than Floridians and people from the Florida college system for the work that you and Belfour do, and all of our first and emergency responders, of course. So thank you, Belfour, for being a gold sponsor here of the AFC annual conference. And Charlotte, you ready to bring up our next guest? I got a thumbs up. I like that. Okay, our next guests have a new name as of yesterday morning, or a slightly new name. We have a silver sponsor of the AFC annual conference. And now from the newly branded Wiley Beyond, we have Sherry and Bonnie. Sherry and Bonnie, welcome here to our virtual trade show and welcome to the AFC annual conference. And thank you so much for being a silver sponsor.
Thank you. You can hear me. I am not being able to release my video.
You sound great.
Good. I'm glad you can hear me. There we go.
Oh, there's your video too. All right.
Yeah, so glad. Thank you. So glad to be here. And you guys are in Florida. I'm in Illinois. It's sunny here. I wouldn't say it's warm. So, but we are happy to have sunshine. So thank you. Thanks for having us. Well, yeah, we'll get started. I know my colleague Bonnie is on as well. And we're going to kind of split our time with you all and just share a little bit with you about Wiley Beyond. It is a very brand new name, which we're very excited about, and being able to be in partnership with the Association of Florida Colleges. And hopefully you can see my screen now, if possible. Yes, perfect. Okay, so just wanted to share a little bit about Wiley and Beyond and what it offers for students and employees as well. It's not just limited to students and their offerings, but it encompasses all of the community colleges and what we can offer for that. Wiley has been around for a very long time, and we are going to cover that. And so just quickly, just share a quick agenda with you, what Wiley is, how Wiley Beyond can support your employees and students. I'm going to introduce you to my colleague Bonnie, and then next steps. So some of you might be familiar with Wiley. You might have heard about it from the textbooks, maybe publishing. It has been around for 200 plus years. I'm really a champion for students that, long ago textbooks were really only for professors, really seeing what the needs were for students throughout the years and incorporating that more and more, and then developing partnerships and relationships with corporations, working with their employees. Some of you might be familiar with DISC assessments. Wiley has been very involved with in their companies throughout the country, and just a bunch of other knowledgeable resources for students and faculties and staffs now. So it is a legacy company that is invested in education. It is a company that's invested in making sure that students and faculty have the resources for themselves during that time. So we are excited to be part of Wiley. We are on the Wiley Education Service side, and so supporting students and university partnerships throughout the country. And so Wiley Beyond is the new, kind of our new department logo and label to help partnerships like AFC and with the community colleges in Florida. And what does that all mean is basically that we are here to provide opportunities for students after community college. So being able
I think we lost her microphone.
Uh-oh.
Bonnie, do you want to take over, and we'll see if Sherry can join us again?
Oh boy, how did we lose Sherry?
I'm not sure.
Huh.
I can ask her to unmute. Let's see.
Sherry, can you unmute? Always technical difficulties.
Always.
Gotta love this virtual world that we are all living in.
Can you hear me now?
Oh, there you are.
Yes, you're back.
I have no idea what happened. Oh my goodness. Okay, so can you see the screen? Can you guys hear me?
Oh, now I can hear you and see you. I don't see your screen.
Okay. This is so fun.
We see your screen.
See your screen. It's back to the original slide.
Benefits of AFC partnership.
Yes. Let's see if I can get it to move.
Who is Wiley?
Perfect. All right. Maybe I've got it back. I will try to, I think I was here and starting to expand a little bit about who we were, or I did expand about who we were. I'm gonna jump through this a little quickly. Thank you so much. I don't know what happened. So basically, Wiley Beyond, what we're doing, what my role is, what Bonnie's role is, and she'll talk about. Again, I'm an account executive with Wiley. I've been in higher education for 23 plus years. I've worked at a traditional brick and mortar. I myself was a transfer student when I went to college. And so I really have a passion for working with transfer students in the community college area. And Wiley has done such a great job with us being able to build this partnership with AFC to help benefit your students as well as benefit yourself as a faculty member, staff person at any of the community colleges within Florida. And what that means is that those benefits apply to you as members of the AFC organization, as well as taking the information that we're sharing with you today and being able to provide it to your students. And Bonnie's going to talk a little bit about that student relationship, but I'm going to talk about mostly what's on before that student relationship. I am the person that's going to work with you and help personalize information and those benefits to share with your students. It can be as simple as a email. It can be as simple as creating a webinar. We know that during these times right now that adjusting to learning virtually, not every institution is up to speed on what that is or has the budgets to make them fancy learning environments. We want to be a support and a resource to our partner schools and in that benefit to, if there are things that Wiley can provide you, a free book or a learning webinar that has been curated through Wiley, we want to provide that to you as part of that benefit and partnership with AFC. Knowing that times like these are hard, you're juggling a lot between your own teaching your students in the classroom, but as well as caring for your own family. And maybe you have little people or teenagers at home that have to be taught as well and making sure they stay on task, which can always be that challenge. And so that is my role, is to really partner with you and your community college to personalize that. Each community college, wherever they are throughout a state or throughout a region, have difference of needs and wants. And so we really want to work with you. I really want to work with you to share that information as the community college. We want students to know that there are options outside when they graduate. And so we want to make sure that we're providing as a partner those options that we have. All of our partnerships with our 30 plus universities are online programs. And so some students are seeing now with COVID, with life, with the pressures of all that, that online is an option and becomes an easier option because of those demands. And so we're really trying to get out as a partner to make sure that you're knowing that these options are available, that students have over 600 programs that they can choose from. I understand that a lot of universities, a lot of the community colleges do have some bachelor's programs on campus, and we can look at those ones that you have, and then I am able to share with you the ones that you might not have, that students might have access to. Some of the partner schools that we have that you might be familiar with are UWF, University of West Alabama, Concordia St. Paul, Aurora, Point Park, let's see who else, Riviere, Notre Dame in Ohio, not the Notre Dame, so those are just a few of the schools that we have partnerships with and want to be able to share that in information. I'm going to skip the slide because we got a little far ahead. And so what I was talking about with the marketing and PR support is my role is to really personalize and help you get this information out to your students. And so again, that could be a simple newsletter, it could be a webinar that we're offering, and we create it all for you in consultation with you. So what your needs are, what you're seeing, what you're hearing. You know, maybe it's the transfer center and you're hearing a lot coming from students, the balance of, you know, finals are coming up, or I have this demand of my work and how this, what are some study skills and study tips that we can utilize? You could give Sherry a call and say, hey, you know, I'm hearing a lot from my students. I could help create a newsletter or a webinar or a brochure or something that we could send out to your students to, hey, we hear this demand. We hear that you're struggling. We want to provide these resources to you. Here's what we have. And so Wiley is great because we have that depth and breadth within our publishing to be able to find those resources and have those people in place that are experts to provide study skills or tips. You know, maybe it's a matter of talking a little bit more about financial aid or just various different types that you're going to know more about than I am. And then me as the account executive helping you to personalize that information and get them out to your students. It is very accommodating for you because we'll create it all. I will pass it off to you and then you can disseminate it amongst your students, whether it's posting it again on a site or sending it out via email. So that's one benefit. That's something that we're very good at, we're steady at, consistent at. And then what I mentioned before was working with our curated learning partners, those 30+ institutions across the country, all regionally accredited institutions, all online programming. Students can attend the class when they're available. It is not, hey, you have to be online at 3 p.m. or you have to be online at 8 a.m. It is there and available to them 24/7. And so those institutions will offer those programmings, and we really want to help students find the right program for them. And that's where my colleague Bonnie steps in, is her expertise will be working with that student. And you as a faculty or staff member, if you're looking to get a master's degree or a PhD degree, you know, we have those as well. And you receive the same benefits as the students do. You receive that tuition point break. You receive a free evaluation. If a student is having a harder time getting a transcript, or we can access that, call that institution and get a transcript or something like that, our Bonnie is that person that will be working with that student to help get that information. She'll also be working with them to develop a plan, which is so important. And so I'm providing here a link that will allow you to go and look. It will allow you to see some of our partners that I wasn't able to mention. It'll allow you to get a better understanding of Wiley Beyond and the information provided. This landing page is just for our Associated of Florida Colleges. You can send a student there. A student can start the process and get connected with Bonnie immediately. If you as a staff or employee member as well are looking to become a student, again, at that higher level, again, this is where you would go to get that information and to start that process. If you're looking to connect with me, you can always connect with me. I can share my information and I will be that person to coordinate with you to share this Wiley Beyond information with your students. And so that's kind of our different roles of, I'm working prior to starting that process of getting into the class and figuring out what your pathway might be. And so I am going to send this off to Bonnie as she is our part of my student success team. Bonnie?
Thanks, Sherry. I appreciate all of you taking the time to join us today. My name's Bonnie Babbitt, and I work on the student side of things in student services. I have been in higher education for over 20 years. I've been in multiple different roles. And now what my role is to work with community college faculty, staff, and students and really narrow in on what type of program might serve you the best. So one of the advantages here of working with us in the Wiley Beyond is that we've got 30 different universities that we offer these transfer pathways to. So for your students, that's giving them a much broader ability to choose between programs at universities that will meet their needs. Like Sherry mentioned, we've got over 30 universities with over 600 different types of programs. So if you've got a student who's looking to go into healthcare with a more specialized nursing degree, if you've got somebody who's looking into business or the community, you know, like into criminal justice or something along those lines, that would be a great option as well. So we really do cut across the gamut there. I'm going to go ahead and see if I can share my screen with you. Are we seeing the client success team? Uh-oh, I'm getting shaking heads.
You're on mute, Charlie.
Uh-oh. Hey, Sherry, can I ask you to pop yours back up? Somehow mine isn't.
It's up, Bonnie.
I'm sorry, what's that, Sherry?
It's up.
Okay, great. Thanks so much for your help. I appreciate it. If you can pop to the next screen. What I do then as a program consultant, after you have chatted with Sherry or gone through the portal of the landing page that we provided for the Association of Florida Colleges, if you enter your information there, you come to me. And what I do as a program consultant is to work with folks individually, have conversations that really dive deeply into what your career and your personal goals are. So with your students, this is the conversation I'll have. We'll look at a variety of different programs and narrow in on which one is the best. We do also review the tuition, any discounts, because that's one of the benefits of being part of our Wiley Beyond network, is that you get tuition discounts at all of these partner universities. And then we do offer different scholarships. Currently, we're offering a $500 scholarship for anybody who goes back to school in order to help alleviate some of the burdens from COVID. I'll also complete a free transcript evaluation. So I know working with community college students, sometimes I've got a student who has been at multiple different schools. So we've got a variety of transcripts and really figure out what does their educational footprint look like so that we can match them with a university that will maximize the work they've already done. Some of our universities also take into consideration professional experiences. I find this mostly in the public sector. If someone's got professional certifications, that those can count toward college credits. So that's all part of what I do when folks come through us. I take it the next step, and then I will schedule an appointment directly with that university's enrollment counselor that is aware of the benefits and the tuition discounts, can walk students through the particulars of the program. And I stay with my students all the way through them starting their program. So if they get with one university that we talked about that seemed like it was going to be a great fit, and they come back to me and say, you know what, after having the conversation, I decided I really want to look at something, you know, a school in the Northeast. Then we can go back to the drawing board, take a look at different program options. So that's one of the benefits to the student, is they can talk with these universities through what I can offer to them and get them connected. And if they need to come back, circle back to me, and we need to take a look at some other options, more than happy to do that. Again, and these benefits apply to not only the students at your community college, but also you as the leaders and all of your faculty and staff members. I've worked with staff members from community colleges that are in entry-level positions, have very little credits, and can get them started in bachelor's programs or certificate programs. We offer everything all the way up through doctoral degrees. So my contact information is there. Again, I'm the one who, once you've decided you want to move forward, you end up with me. There's other folks that are in my same role, but I really like to partner with Sherry, and especially with the state of Florida. Very intimately involved with Miami-Dade School District in a K-12 setting. So I'm familiar with the school district down there, and I'm really excited to work with more folks from Florida. I do live in the Chicagoland area, thus the turtleneck, because it is not super warm here. So I would love if anybody wants to invite me on site, that would be great too. And we are more than happy. Part of the advantage of working with us here at Wiley is that we really can curate to whatever the needs are of your particular community college. Every community's needs are different. Every student body is a little bit different, and we're more than happy to have those conversations. Sherry can work with our marketing team. We can incorporate your logos onto things. And I like to work with students, honestly, from the beginning of their community college journey all the way through to graduation. So I am not opposed to talking to somebody in their first semester of school and saying, let's talk about what your career goals are. Let me help you understand what that career path looks like and what type of education makes the most sense for you. My role is student-centric. I am not tied to any of these partner universities. My job is to keep the students' needs and your community college's needs as my top priority. So that's about all I have to say about me. More than happy to answer any questions that you have for either Sherry or I.
Well, Sherry and Bonnie, those were wonderful. Those study skills, I probably should have been looking you up as I was going through those some years ago. And it may, in the future, with the young minds I have in my house, that I will be preparing all too soon to send on to the next level.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Well, and that's part of the advantage too, is that we've got all of the different areas of Wiley from which we can pull resources. So we've heard that there's many community colleges have asked us to give like webinars or seminars on, can you just walk them through what financial aid looks like from here forward?
Right.
We can do an invitation just for, a webinar on that particular topic. What does the transfer process look like to some of these schools? What does it look like when I go to grad school? How does this balance with my family work schedule? How can I fit in more school? All these really practical things, and we can tell you exactly because we've worked with thousands and thousands of students, and our student success team is wonderful at that. That's their role, is to stay with students all the way through graduation. So it's some of those hesitations, those human, that we really break it down. That's why it's important that we give this human interaction to every student that comes through to us.
Well, we love that, and we look forward to collaborating with you more. We're excited for your new brand that's been released. The logo looks wonderful.
Thank
We
you.
appreciate your support here at this conference, and like I said, we look forward to collaborating more down the road.
Excellent. Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you, and good luck on finding some warmer weather. But we invite you down to Florida to enjoy ours.
Fantastic.
Well, excellent. Again, we'd like to thank Wiley Beyond. Congratulations on your rebranding, and thank you for being here as part of our Association of Florida Colleges event. Thank you, Sherry, and thank you, Bonnie. Thank you to all the attendees that hung very tough with us through today's lunch hour, and we'll be back tomorrow with our additional sponsors. At 12 noon, we'll host another vendor fair, and I'm sure there's exciting prizes and everything. I've shared my screen. You see we have 3 excellent sessions coming up at 1:45 Eastern Time today. Best practices in serving students remotely, the Learning Resources Commission with their exemplary practice, and my personal favorite, Podcast Live with the Facilities and COVID, brought to you by Belfour. Please take a short break and plan on joining us there. Have a great rest of your afternoon. Thank you to our host, really, Charlie Whidden. Thank you for asking me to be part of this session with you and all of our
Thank you, Doug.
sponsors. Cheers, everybody. You have a great afternoon.